everybody. Welcome to the Hopecast Network and Reality Redux. We want to let you know that if you come to our website, hopecast.com, you can actually leave a voicemail there for any of the hosts of the shows, and you can check out all of the other shows on the network. If there's a reality show you'd really like to watch and you want us to recap it with you, please feel free to leave a note. Thanks. This week, we've left Kitchen Nightmares behind, and me and my friends cannot wait to delve into the guilty pleasure that is the Real Housewives franchise. With magnificent mountains, world-class ski slopes, beauty, wealth, and perfection, welcome to Reality Redux and our recap of Season 1, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Utah!
Can I just point out that it was my idea to get you both to watch the show?
I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough.
If I can bring anybody on the reality TV train with me, I will, because sometimes I feel lonely that I don't have anyone to talk to about it. My husband won't watch it, even though I catch him. Like every now and then he'll be on his phone when I have it on, and all of it.
Well, I promise that you can count on me to go on these debaucherous excursions with you, because I didn't realize there was such a hole in my life and in my soul until I watched the Salt Lake series. I had only seen Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, old school, Kyle Richards.
So not the newer.
Nope. I don't know anything after that. I just
I can fill you in on Beverly Hills as well.
All right. Well, all I'm saying is there's a franchise and there's no shortage of material. So I'm hoping to stay on this ride as long as people want to.
I think there's no shortage of Bravo material, because I'm a huge Bravo person. I love Bravo reality TV. Like, I love Summer House, Vanderpump Rules, even their recasting, whatever, that one. But, like, I love reality TV, specifically Bravo. And I like Hulu, Netflix, all the goodies. But, like,
no, Bravo's got some seriously good stuff.
Yeah.
And Bravo's own Andy Cohen, he just, he lives part of his year a spit's throw from me here in St. Louis. He's always talking about his love of his hometown.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever reach out to him. Andy Cohen, the odds that you listen to this, maybe give me a ring.
One day.
I'm in St. Louis County. We can meet up. You can come on the pod. I think it'd be fabulous. I'm working on getting some people tangentially related to the franchise to join us for some recap.
You're going to get like 16 friends of, I
mean, like the six degrees of Jen Shaw, right? How many people can we get that haven't signed an NDA? I'm going to try to reach that level and see if they'll come and work with us. But this is a first time for Maggie too, right, Mag? You haven't seen
I have not been in the Real Housewives world ever before. I know the memes, I see clips every so often, but I just binged 10 episodes of the show, and I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, it's interesting because I watched season 1, like, not when it was airing. I would say within the last year, I watched season 1, and now I'm like obsessed with Salt Lake City. But I was rewatching season 1 for this, and I didn't get through all of it, but I know all of it. But it was very interesting seeing them all from, I guess, 5 seasons ago.
Yeah.
To where they are now.
Yeah.
Not just friendship trajectory, but like attitudes.
And physicality.
I can't wait to see what their faces look like. Yeah. Honestly.
And their boobs.
So different.
Their boobs have changed a lot.
Lips have changed, cheekbones have changed, like skin has changed. Like, I mean, but attitudes have changed. Like, it's very weird watching it from the beginning and who was confiding in who, and the character or like 1/2 that's like new this season, or not new, but like
newer,
more than a friend of.
Well, and it probably hasn't changed. Do you smell that? I smell hospital. I have a feeling that Mary Cosby still doesn't like the smell of hospital. I bet that has stayed the same. But my gosh, if you're going to build a story arc over the most ridiculous thing, I think that really has to be right up there.
I think a lot of Jen's reactions in season 1 were overreactions, and I felt like, honestly, Jen specifically, but a lot of them, most of them, if not all, a lot of season 1 was like kind of like dumb storylines that like really didn't have any place. Like, oh, Good Time Girl, like, you really tell me that Heather Gay was like, I am angry about this, like, It made no sense.
Yeah, they don't take. She wouldn't have been able to graduate from BYU, but they wouldn't take her degree away. She graduated 20 years before that. Like,
But I also just
fine.
don't think she really cared. Maybe she did. I don't know. But I don't think she cared enough to be like, I am furious.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
she might have been like embarrassed that because it wasn't true. She didn't want that. Whatever. But the
Yeah, or the-
fighting in season 1 was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It seemed contrived. It did. There were a lot of moments where I felt Bravo was kind of egging on from the sidelines.
Yeah,
we
like they
need-
didn't
we need more.
realize that they would
probably-
hit gold season 2.
Right.
with-
Right.
Yeah,
They
they
had
probably
no
did.
idea.
Or,
The producers probably like pushed it for the first season, and then they rewatched. Like the people in it watched it and were like, "Oh, I know what to do now." All right.
yeah,
got it.
right.
Next one.
Yeah, they
Next one.
create like, but like
Yeah, they
Jen,
create all the stuff.
I remember like when I first watched it, I was always thinking like her reactions don't make a lot of sense to things. Like it seemed like all of the women were afraid of her, like because their
I just
attitudes
missed that part.
in season 3 and on, their personalities changed, and
Yeah.
it seemed like because in front of Jen, everyone was petrified of her.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, but it was a bizarre thing. They were both afraid of Jen and they were afraid of Mary.
They're still.
Yeah.
I think there's. I think maybe now this new season 5, which you haven't seen, maybe there might not. I don't really know, but it seems
And
like
no
that will.
spoilers, no spoilers
Oh,
yet.
no
Maggie and I we're virgins
Yeah.
in this territory.
Right.
I think
They
because,
like
because
all
with
of the Mormons on their wedding nights, you're virgins. Got it.
Right.
But
Yes, we're following Mormon rules for this. We're not going to.
Yeah.
you're right. They were, a lot of them were also, or still are, I don't know, afraid of Mary. And that was really like, but there
'cause
were
she's-
times where Mary's really scary though. That's the thing.
that
like,
yeah, that story of her marriage is weird. Like, especially
I
if
still
she's
don't
not,
fully
she's not of the
understand
church
it.
at all.
I still don't fully
Because
understand.
I watched it like so much these last 2 days. So her grandmother was with her second husband, and
Right.
and so Mary's mom really wanted to take over the church, and Mary's grandmother, who had the church, was like, "No, you're gonna mess this up." Like, I'm sure it was kind of like a greedy kind of thing. Like, that's what I'm seeing is like her mom probably thought, or like her grandmother thought, this daughter's gonna mess it up. I've made this huge like congregation around the country pretty much, so she put in her will, this church is going to my granddaughter, she has to marry my husband though, and that's her.
But why? Like, what was that? Yeah, it was like her
I think
dying
it's
wish or
what the
something.
religion probably is like, you can't, like, maybe it's his technically kind of thing,
Well,
but
he's
she's
the lead, so he's the lead worship
Pentecostal,
leader.
yeah.
And she's the first lady. So together they run that church. And I
Yeah.
think Robert Sr. was like 20 years younger than her grandmother. And I think he's 18 years older than Mary. I think he's the same age older as Justin is for Whitney. And that is interesting because when you say grandfather, we tend to think like really old, but we got to think like Mary is probably pushing 50, I think. And so it would make sense that Robert Sr. is like 68.
Yeah.
But they run it together. And honestly, I think as we see, no major spoiler here, I think people can already, after season 1, get a hint that there may be something, shall we say, like unholy about Faith Temple, that there may be some shenanigans going on. And the closer you can keep that in the family, the better you are able to control it.
She has, like, she's got closets and rooms and homes filled, like, she's a high-end hoarder. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
she-
do they?
she
I
doesn't
don't
know how
even
many
remember.
houses she has.
Do they
She doesn't know how many houses she
explain
has.
where
It's-
this money comes from?
Yeah, so
it's
the grandmother
That's how they all
started.
get money.
Yeah, the grandma, well, here's the thing. I think we're realizing there might be some fraud under everybody at some point, right?
Oh yeah, 'cause I know later seasons from like a thing that I've seen on posts, like somebody got, like, the FBI like raided them.
Oh yeah, that's what you're
Jen.
going to see
That's
next.
season 2.
Yeah, season
go over
2.
that. That's Jen.
But I think the grandmother, Rose, I forgot her name, Rosemary, I can't remember. She started this church and grew from that money and put it into certain investments. So she has this empire. She has a mortgage
that's
company.
weird,
She's
like,
got
that's
multiple
so weird.
restaurants. They've got multiple houses across
Yeah.
the country, which Mary brags that they leave empty when they're not there. And I'm thinking, how can this be?
Yeah.
Regardless of your particular religious affiliation or none at all, you have to understand that in most religions, you're supposed to be charitable. You're supposed to be
Right.
kind. You're supposed to be generous.
Yeah.
And
Like,
Mary
she's
wasn't any of those
charitable with
things.
her
Yeah,
like, she's
yeah.
charitable with her family member. Her
Yeah, because they work with her.
grandfather's-
They clean her
her
house.
grandfather's brother's kid is the maid of that house.
Yes.
She's the lady with the She's
That's
the
right.
lady
Yeah,
with the
she
hat.
employs her family because that's what she says is charitable, giving them
Yeah,
work.
she's like, and she's like, I don't know what she does when she's not here, whatever. And you see the way that woman is dressed the same way constantly.
Yeah.
What
I
are you
think that
doing?
might be what they're afraid of, is
Yeah.
what they don't know. I think most people are afraid of that when things are just
Yeah.
too much of a mystery. And honestly, with Jen and Mary, both of their behaviors are just I mean, I'm not going to use the word bipolar like lightly. I really believe there should be an official diagnosis. If for no other reason than they have narcissistic personality disorder.
Right.
I think I think Jen's an alcoholic who, when she hits that drunk, she switches. When she's like blacked
Which is
out.
scary. If anybody's ever lived with somebody with an addiction, you don't know who you're getting, Jekyll or Hyde. So you tiptoe around them, and you certainly don't want to get on their poop list, right? So I think the other housewives are just feeling like they've got to kind of stay on the good side of these people because you
Right.
don't want to suffer their wrath.
Well, I
Yeah.
also think tell me what else happened with Mary season 1, because
So you don't spoil things.
Well, yeah, because I
Yeah.
don't want to because yes, I don't.
I know exactly what you're saying. I had the same thing because I've been pushing ahead a little bit. I'm on season
Right.
3 now, so I made notes that end with each season so I don't spoil things.
Right,
I
right.
think where we leave Mary off, she's basically, Whitney and Meredith have come to her church.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to realize kind of the power of her congregation and her wealth. She hasn't discussed her problems with Robert Jr. yet.
Mm-hmm.
She's vaguely discussed the fact that she and Robert Sr. kind of live separate lives.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she was uninvited from Coach Shaw's birthday party,
Birthday.
and that caused a rift. So kind of
Right.
toward the end of season 1, she was a bit on the outs because
What has she said derogatory yet this season? Because I don't know if that really comes up in the next couple of seasons. But I know
It's- the main one is-
she has said very mean things to certain people.
Yeah,
Throughout
she
the
told
trajectory of this.
Whitney that Meredith and God, there's so many.
she said Meredith and Lisa were
Yeah,
afraid
she said Meredith and
to
Lisa
set
were
up.
afraid
Yeah,
of
she
Jen.
set up Whitney with some lies. But no, I don't. I think I know what you're talking about, Ashley, and that really doesn't happen in season 1.
Okay.
She goes more like off script and unchained before she
does
leaves.
that-
Yeah,
She does that
yeah.
luncheon. She does that luncheon where she.
Oh yeah,
just,
the
Yes, that's the big one. You're right, Maggie.
He said,
Yeah.
like that. He said eccentricness.
eccentric.
Yeah,
I think-
that,
Yeah.
like she does the Met Gala luncheon, which was so
Yes.
funny when Meredith was like, I'm sorry, the Met Gala is a place and its
Yeah.
theme is different every year, and this is a luncheon. I don't know what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, this woman has no idea because she is just out of her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I remember watching that, thinking like none of the themes made like what was the
no.
theme like.
Yeah,
Well,
like
right,
the-
and that, and then Whitney's 20s party. The 20s party with like the cowboy stripper on the pole.
I
yeah.
honestly
I don't know what that had to do with prohibition.
Burlesque dancers made a little bit more sense, but then like the guys that were just straight
Yeah.
cowboy stripping, that was weird. But
I forgot
Most of
that
that part made
she
sense.
that Whitney like pole danced so much. Honestly.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
God.
She
Like,
really does
I
love
get
that
it.
pole.
It's not anymore. I get it.
Like I can totally. I also forgot that the entire season started with her vow renewal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was such a surprise, right? Because they're like, you've been married, and then it was like, and they like stopped the
But no
rewind.
one was
Husband.
there. No, what's interesting is that no one in the
Yeah.
cast was actually there, and it turns out
Correct.
like I guess they weren't invited. But that was so weird
Right.
because
I
if it's
think
the
it might have
first-
been it might have been a Mormon thing.
Yeah,
it
I
might
think-
have been because
well,
she's excommunicated and it's
so they
kind
just-
of a
But
ceremony.
the only Mormon, the only practicing Mormon in the whole cast is Lisa. And she's not even Mormon. She's like Mormon by
Yeah.
marriage. And she's
Right.
what she says, what does she say? I'm not culturally Mormon. That's
no,
how
she
she
said she's
justifies.
culturally Jewish.
Culturally Jewish, right?
Yeah.
So she can own the tequila company. But she's, Mormon on the religious side of things. But I think Heather was at the vow renewal because Heather
I heard her
said,
voice
Well,
in
that's
the
her cousin.
background, but they didn't show her on camera
Right.
at the
Yeah, that's her
renewal.
cousin. But
and her
'cause,
dad
yeah,
was there. Oh golly, can we talk about
I
her
honestly
dad?
forgot about that too. I actually thought that
That
her
man's
dad came
hair.
in later seasons, so I forgot that.
Yeah.
That.
So
happened.
that man's hair.
Oh,
and he's a
He
hairdresser.
needs to get himself back into the hairdressing
I
salon.
know.
because-
you know who he reminded me of? You guys might not remember this, but Garth Brooks had like that alter ego, Chris Gaines.
Chris
It's like
Gaines.
his rock and roll alter
Yeah.
ego in the
Okay.
90s. Look up Chris Gaines, Google it. That's her dad
I'm
without the
Googling it
flavor
right
saver.
I was thinking Chris Angel. Like,
Oh,
but
that too.
Yeah,
With
that I see.
shorter hair.
That I see.
yeah,
But I can just tell he's sucked off, apparently. It's all, the script, but it appears he's done nothing but suck
Money-wise.
off of Justin and Whitney for a decade, right?
I was like,
Angie, the way you started that,
yeah, you were like, it appears he is.
she looked up like,
Yeah.
what are you?
Yeah, I was like,
This is like very different podcast suddenly.
you're right. He
All
does
the
look
teeth.
like Chris Gaines, but
Did you
I
look it
don't
up?
actually know who Chris Gaines is.
Oh, that's
So
Garth Brooks.
that's just Garth Brooks.
It's
When he
lovely.
wanted to be a rock star, he changed his name and he came out with a new album. He was reinventing himself for a while.
Why?
I guess because he'd conquered country music and he wanted to see if
Yeah,
he could
he
cross
has
over
the
into
most-
rock.
Yeah, he's like the highest sales.
Yeah, he surpassed the Beatles, I believe. He has the highest record sales. But
records. So he's just
I
like,
guess it's the same reason. It's the same reason Michael Jordan went and tried to play baseball. I mean, you just kind of are at top of your game. You go try a new game. But
I literally had no idea this
her
happened.
dad looks just like him. But I mean, he infuriates me because he's totally just siphoning off any money,
Yeah,
it seems, and he
it's
seems like an
so-
energy vampire to Whitney too. I mean, he kind of looks like a vampire, but I think he just seems like a bit of a mess. I feel badly for. I mean, honestly, I don't feel too badly for any of the housewives. They all seem to have created
they're all
problems of their own.
But I was
But
really
that
excited
was
for
tough.
her when he was upset that he was gonna get a roommate, and she's like,
Yeah.
"We're not playing this. We're not playing this right now." And it wasn't
Oh,
her husband
yeah.
that talked; it was her. She's like, "So you want to do this? So who's gonna give you that money?
Yeah.
What do you?
Right,
what's going on?"
I do remember
And
that.
so he was like, "Yeah, I guess I'll stay here and find a job and stuff." I was like, "Ooh."
Well, he said earlier on that he had a storage unit where he'd had all the supplies available to start up his own salons again. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, honey, I mean, I think the salon business is probably different than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And you just don't look like a poster child for coming here and look beautiful."
Yeah.
I don't
Also,
know.
yeah, like Utah has the specific look too, like the Utah curls and stuff. Not that can't be created by someone who doesn't have Utah curls,
Yeah.
but
just
I
look
just feel
strung
like
out.
after 20 years, you probably aren't aware of the new tips and
Correct.
tricks and all that,
Yeah.
that good
Correct.
stuff that Secret
Balayage
Life
or
of Mormon
whatever.
Wives want for their hair.
Well, I
Yeah.
was, and speaking of tips and tricks for Mormon wives, what about all the procedures at Beauty Lab? Beauty Lab. By the way, if I hear Beauty Lab and Beta Tequila, we need Real Housewives bingo.
Yeah.
Beta Tequila, and we own a lot of tequila brands, and we
Hello,
own a
baby
luxury
gorgeous.
marketing program. And my husband follows me
I
around
run-
and does nothing.
I
Oh, that
run
whole
this
family.
brand.
Sorry, Barlow. I think Barlow's my least favorite. Sorry.
A lot. I've heard that from people before. I actually I want to go to Beauty Lab. That's the thing. I love how you guys are like Beauty Lab, Beauty Lab, Beauty Lab. I actually want to go there and see what they could do for me.
I think a
'Cause,
field trip would be fun.
Yeah, why don't we all go
Yes.
and make appointments at Beauty Lab, make consultations and see I wouldn't mind going in there, and if they were oh, we'll take you from here
Yeah.
to here, I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind that, or if they take me from here to
I'll take the
Here?
Botox in my underarms to sweat less. I'll do that one.
oh,
I didn't even know that was a
do
thing.
that
Botox in
one.
your underarms.
I did not know that was a thing. And then
Yeah.
She did in the first episode. I think. What a way to intro yourself too. She's
yes. Yep. Check out my
You're like,
pits
I sweat too much.
and her knees. She wanted to get her knees done. And you know what? I am all
Yeah.
about women supporting women, and women.
Whatever you want to do, but that's
for sure. Oh no, Angie,
Expensive.
are you frozen for anybody else or just me?
yeah.
Oh no, she's frozen for you
We'll keep
too,
moving
Maggie.
So we can see. Yeah, she's frozen for me.
Oh.
Yeah, we're just doing the moving so we can see when we're all.
Yeah. We're all just "Woo." I want to go to Beauty Lab. I don't know if I've ever tried Vita Tequila. I can't tell you if it's ever been. I haven't. I know I've never ordered it, but I'm not
Sorry,
opposed
cut
to
out.
it.
doubt that's.
Oh, you're back,
I really
Angie.
doubt
Hi.
that it's
Yay,
distributed that
thank
far.
you.
Yeah.
I have heard that Vita Tequila, they call it top shelf, but I've heard that it's at the bottom shelf of every grocery store in America, if it's
there's
even
no
carried
way
there.
that's
But
top shelf.
where is it at a bar? Can I?
I
I'm
don't
not going
know.
to buy it at a grocery store, but can
No.
I get it? Can
Yeah.
I get a shot of it at a bar? That's what I
What do you
want.
say, Maggie? What do you know?
I don't
Have you
it
seen
at
it?
my bar. I haven't seen
you
it in
don't
my
have
bar.
it.
I don't think it's that far. I don't think it's that far distributed out.
Do you think it's just
Oh, you don't
regional
think
then?
she's-
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, but really? I mean, I didn't think she was
tough
like
to distribute things
Uh-oh.
far.
Oh no,
Oh,
Angie
she's
left.
gone.
She's coming back. See, yeah, I have. The thing is, I've never I've never asked for it at a bar, but I kind of want to. I want to see if I can get it somewhere, and if I can't, like, I mean, funny enough, I was literally just in Mexico for a wedding, and I took tequila shots like quite a bit.
Oh, it's definitely not getting down to Mexico.
No, but that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't like that. That's like legit stuff. And then I come back here and I'm like, I'm gonna try Vita tequila. Like, I literally landed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
I have to look at it. Tequila has to be made from the agave plant, which is pretty much only found in Mexico. Like, it's a specific type of thing. Like, it's not. It's kind of like champagne. It's not tequila if it's made from a different type of plant. So it has to be from there. But
well, I'm not gonna. I'm about like bringing the receipts to stuff, right? I don't like just throw stuff out there that I can't legitimate. But apparently, and this may be a tiny spoiler, but in later episodes, of course, all of these ladies have rifts at one point or the other, and Meredith and Lisa have a big one. And we find out, or Meredith alludes to the fact, and I looked up the documentation, that, you know, Vita's losing money, or was losing money at the time of filming, so much so that they had to issue an SEC filing so that they could generate crowdsource funding. And so I don't think it is widely distributed or widely successful. Of course, she probably still has more money than I do, but I don't think Vita Tequila is this mega brand, no matter how many times she wants to name drop it or say she's the queen of Sundance or whatever. I think it's very much in her mind, like a legend in her own mind. But I guess we'll see as the show plays out. She did donate, she said, enough for 500 people to Whitney's vow renewal. So,
but there weren't even 500 people there. Weren't there like 50? She said. So what? So that number I feel like came out of nowhere. That's so inflated.
I agree.
But also, here's the thing with the donation. Here's my take on that conversation.
So she inflated that. That's a problem.
Sure, but it was nice of Lisa to donate. I think if it were me and a friend of mine, like if they were actually friends, if I called my friend, because Whitney called her first to ask for Vita Tequila. I don't know if she asked for a donation, but it was the verbiage was something along the lines of Whitney asked for Vita Tequila.
Yeah.
If I called my friend with a liquor company and I said, I would like to have your, I think I have a booger, sorry.
Okay. You got a bat in the cave? That's what
I think so. If I called my friend and said, I would like to have your brand at my party, I would then follow that sentence up immediately with, please send me an invoice. I'll text you the right email. And I'd like to pay in full prior to delivery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would never, and if my friend said, no, it's my pleasure, as a congratulatory gift, I'll donate.
Yeah. I would also ask for that invoice too.
I'd ask for that invoice, but I hope on top of that, like if she also, so apparently Vita Tequila also has bartenders.
Yes, or subcontractors or something.
Okay, so on top of that, I hope that Whitney at least tipped them. Because it's one thing, like, okay, you're accepting this donation from the brand, but like the actual people that are working your party, they have nothing to do with that donation. Like they should be tipped. On top, but apparently they were all acting like hooligans and.
Right. Yeah. That started the drama between Whitney and Lisa, right? When they were at Meredith's party. It wasn't really for Meredith, but
Oh my God, that was crazy.
By the way, I also think, like, I don't think it was such a big deal to say that. Like, okay, so Whitney said, like, they weren't acting
just
very.
Save face for her. Yeah, to let her know, hey, you're
right. Like, if I were Lisa, I'd be like, oh wait, that's really embarrassing. I'm gonna get to the bottom of that. And if it turned out to be false, then okay. But like,
she's very defensive.
Yeah, I wouldn't have reacted that. Every time Lisa gets defensive, I always think like, why?
Why? Yeah, what truth is behind that? But you're also right about the overreactions, Ashley. I think the whole first season, everything, it was like a little thing would happen and we blow it all up. And It Smells Like Hospital is probably like the ultimate example. But there were so many, like you said, the Good Time Girl, Meredith getting her nose bent out of shape. Oh my gosh, could Brooks make any more out of the fact that his daddy didn't come to his fashion show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
I forgot about that.
His dad has seen that one tracksuit 800 times. You're fine, kid. Like,
one tracksuit.
So
wait, I do believe he had two tracksuits, but I do think one had Brooks marks across the chest and one had it down the arms.
Why didn't he come though? I don't remember. He was working.
He said he was working, but he didn't want to create drama with Meredith because they were in the middle of a separation. And he felt that he and Meredith apparently had had a conversation he alluded to that said, me coming is going to likely overshadow Brooks's moment because we're undoubtedly going to get into it. And that's why he showed up for the snowmobiling date like the next week so that they
Right.
could hang out together.
I think that was manipulative as hell because
Yeah.
that's him trying to be like, see, if we were on good terms, then our son wouldn't be upset.
Right.
So how about you give in and we get it back together? And I was like, that's manipulative. Like,
That's exactly.
go see your son or don't.
See, like, I don't think it was wrong of Brooks to be. Again, I haven't seen that episode in a while, but I'll catch up. I don't think it was particularly wrong of Brooks to be upset that his dad didn't come. I think as the parent, like, my parents are divorced. I think as the parent, you need to be able to hold yourself to a different standard and hold it together and be able to support your child. So if your child wants you somewhere and you have the physical ability to be there and you don't actually have to work, like, I understand if you have to work, you have to work. Like,
I think I don't know how much of that was he had to work and how much he didn't, but it seemed like it might have been negotiable. Like
But that's what I'm saying.
You're
I
right.
don't think that's right. As the parent, you support your child. If your child says, I want
Yeah.
you to be there or I need you to be there, it doesn't matter how you feel about your ex-wife or your wife that's
whatever
you're working
situation
things
it-
out with. Then stand in a different location. Don't speak to them. Don't
Yeah.
even look at
Yeah.
them. But you show up for your kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you show up for your kids. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I also don't have kids. I have a cat and a dog, but I show up for them.
I think that's
Yeah.
very valid. I think that's very valid. As a divorced person whose ex and myself have always put our kid first and have like no drama. Just our divorce cost $200. I had a very good friend who's an attorney draw up the paperwork. We just said, hey, let's get divorced before we hate each other, and we're great friends to this day and great co-parents. And so we're always showing up for our kid. At the same time, I would hope that by the time my daughter reaches the age of 21, that there is a certain level of, hey, I need to express my disappointment and I need to let you know that I was hurt. And I know it was probably for Bravo, but Brooks just could not let it go. And I thought there were a
Yeah, I
couple of moments where he was being whiny and manipulative to both parents. And I kind of felt like, enough, kid. And he's not a kid, he's 21, I mean, there's
Right.
that moment too. He's not like he's 9 and it's like his bat mitzvah, or I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm not Jewish. When do bat mitzvahs happen? 12, 13?
So a boy has a
13.
bar mitzvah at
Bar
13,
mitzvah, sorry.
and
See,
a
that's
girl
wrong.
has a bat mitzvah at 13.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying. I think there's definitely a level of like emotional maturity that at 21 years old, perhaps you can be like, I'll put it, they're going through a rough time. Perhaps I can put this aside
Yeah.
right now. At 21, if
Yeah.
you're right, if he were 13, I probably that emotional maturity, it isn't really there, and I think I probably would have caused a conniption too. But at 21, I think you.
Yeah.
But also, no, I agree with you. I think, yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he develops because I think he's the only kid. Chloe makes an appearance in season 1 a few times, but I think Brooks ends up kind of living with Meredith, or at least he becomes her major confidant from what I gather. And I think there's a lot of maybe codependency and some arrested development on his end because I just see a failure to launch a bit.
He's like acting like a 16-year-old. Like,
Yeah. And I don't want to pick on them. I don't want to pick on minors, right? I'm not going to pick on Jack and
He's
Henry.
not.
They're just little kids.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Brooks is an adult. He signed up to be on this show and for public consumption. And there's something about him that gets under my skin just a little bit, kind of like the needles at Beauty Lab. And, we'll see how that works out. I got to say this, though. I'm not picking on Jack and Henry, but I am going to pick on their brand. Fresh Wolf.
Did something
A hair
fly
brand.
behind me? Did something just fly behind me?
I don't know.
something like some light or something.
Oh, okay. That really freaked me out.
It could be, or it could be an orb. Maybe this is now a paranormal show, and we've got video
It's
footage.
the least funny thing in the world. Hold on.
Okay, well, and I will say that. I don't want to make you scared. She's really nervous. Poor thing. What happened? She's okay. Look at her. Are you okay? I promise I'll tell you if something flies behind you.
Did you see that, Maggie?
Yeah, I saw like some kind of light back there.
Maybe it was a
It's the- or,
reflection.
like,
Are you wearing a watch or something? Maybe something just bounced off your microwave. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's that bling you're wearing. The
My-
bling.
Yeah.
I'm like trying, like my wedding ring.
I don't
it's
know what it
not.
was.
I'm trying. It's nothing's
Huh?
happened. That
I
really
think-
scared me. Sorry. What is it?
Don't worry about it. We'll keep an eye on it for you. If something comes up, we got you. You're okay. Do you need?
Scared.
So I thought Fresh Wolf was a little weird. I
Yeah.
thought two young kids coming up with hair care for men was a little weird. I thought
forgot
that
about
their packaging, I found it funny. It said independent, wild, and free. And a wolf is a pack animal. They
Yeah.
are not independent, like by nature. So whoever's branding that product needs to do just the tattiest amount of research.
Honestly, I forgot they even had that. It's so funny because like the show just reaches such new heights after the first
Yeah.
season. Like I feel like the first season, the launch was like it was so minor because afterwards like there's so much that happens.
Like,
Yeah,
the
well,
actual
season
drama.
2 brings it for sure. I think that's what we're
Alright.
going to start in on next
Even
week.
like see also
Sure.
what is it up
Next
to right now?
episode.
Season 5? Like season
Yeah.
4 and 5 are out of this world.
Girl, I'm not even there. I can't even imagine. I'm on season 3 and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, season
Yeah.
3 was a good one. Season 4 was insane because of I don't want to like give anything
the
away.
stuff. Okay.
But the current
yeah.
season right now is also like fabulous.
Awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
fab.
Well, I have to say we didn't talk much about Meredith is an interesting sort. She seems to be a bit more of the level-headed. For those of us newish to the show, watching season 1 for the first time, she seems the one who's going to be least likely to be dramatic, even with the separation from Seth. She doesn't go into histrionics. She doesn't seem to overindulge in alcohol. She doesn't seem to lose her temper. She
But
seems
I-
very measured.
yeah.
What do
I
you
would
guys
just
think?
continue. You said you're on season 3?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
so-
seen her and Lisa are fighting. That's where I am. But I think in terms of the first season, Meredith seems the least likely to cause drama at this point. Jen and Mary, we both agree, are off their
Yeah,
game.
those
Yeah.
two are just out of their minds. I'm assuming that maybe Meredith will eventually like
Kinda just
watch it and
break?
Be like, well, I would like to be more into this. I'd be more into this. Like she probably wants to like have more drama so that she gets more airtime or something.
Well, and they get more money. So, like in season 1, each of the housewives was paid $2,000 per episode.
Really?
In season
That-
2, yeah, in season 2, it went up to $6.5K. They negotiated and they signed a contract that limited increases. But the more drama you bring to the table, the more likely you are to get more screen time and upwards of maybe close to $10,000 an episode, which is not a ton by the standards these women seem to live by. But Jen Shaw could certainly, it seems, use the money as we get closer to finding out her drama.
As the show goes on, you definitely make way more. Like I'm pretty sure if I don't know if it's Kyle, it might be Kyle, but she at one point was making, maybe it's more now or I'm off, but like 125,000 an episode.
Dang. Well, they can demand it, right? I mean, if they
Yeah,
are a
they're-
Right,
commodity,
because
the
you've been
drama.
on for so long,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's, of course, you can renegotiate, but
Yeah.
it also, I feel like you have to be invited back to it.
yes.
Like, you
Yes.
do have to like
You have to bring
be
enough. You
invited
have to bring
back.
enough to get people want to see them.
Yeah.
So once you're invited back, then I think you can renegotiate like how much you're paid.
So who do you guys, I know some of us have seen more than season 1, but who do you think is the housewife you're going to want to watch the most? Who do you want to see get the most screen time based on what you've seen? Maggie, since you're brand new to season 1, who are you kind of hoping makes an appearance every episode? Like you're really invested in their drama and their narrative at this point.
Whitney is just fun because she's just like the young, like silly girl. One thing that I'd love to see a little bit less of is the production or whatever focusing so much on Heather eating. It is, I don't know, like, and it's always she's ordering food. Oh, make sure that you don't let anybody, like, she has to go. Let me go fix this drama,
Wait,
but make sure
I-
nobody eats my
Food on a
cheeseburger.
stick. It's always food on
Or
the
those
stick.
lollipops.
I love that though, because like
They-
that would be me.
it's
Like I
delicious.
love food.
Yeah.
So that would
But like
be me.
she's just physically a little bit bigger than them, so I think they're like pushing that in a weird way and just makes me feel icky. Like
I think I would not disagree. I think she does get kind of fat shamed and body shamed at different
yeah, they would show her
times.
eating food, like
And,
it's very like
Yeah.
really?
Well, and her obsession with perfection and Mormonism and
Yeah.
her break from the church. I think she eats her feelings. I think that's what they're trying to show. Is it's like here's a woman
Yeah,
who
she was a
is
lot
kind
like
of
the people in
lost.
her family earlier.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to go that route. I don't know. I think they're really pushing the "woe is me, I'm divorced and I'm kicked." I'm not a good Mormon
It's
narrative,
a
like ad
huge
nauseum.
thing in the church, though. Like, it's
Yeah, I think
really
that's a
difficult to
big,
be a
yeah.
woman and get back allowed, like, in the community and, like, being a part of, like, the women of the church and everything
Right.
like that. Because, like, a man can marry a bunch of women if he wants to. It's
Yeah.
certain. So I know a bit about this religion.
Do,
Not
do tell,
personally.
do tell, Maggie. What do you know?
So
Yeah.
I have a family member who married in who's been part of the church before. It's very intense.
Oh wait,
Uh,
your family member married into a Mormon.
a family member that married into our family had been Mormon before they married in, so they
Someone
all
that
sorts of
came into
stories.
your family used to be Mormon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just like real quick. They didn't really have a lot of upbringing with any type of church when they were a kid, and when they turned 18, they're like, I need something, and they looked into a bunch of different religions and said, that one seems like it'd be good for me, like a good community, because it's like the elders and everybody takes care of each other and all this stuff. He went on his mission. He did a whole bunch of things, like because then that mission is crazy because you go for 2 years. You can call your family twice a year, Christmas and Mother's Day. That's a
Wow.
thing. When you get your mission, like when they tell you where you're gonna go, you have a couple weeks, maybe 2 months to learn whatever language it is, and it's intense. Like the government is constantly asking, like the church, how do you teach these kids? Because they're 18 years old. How do you teach these kids to be fluent in these languages to the amount that they can convert people? It's very intense. But yeah, and what they do, because when I moved to Vegas when I was younger, when I was in high school, it's a huge Mormon
Yeah.
population out there.
Yeah.
Like
Nevada has a lot.
yeah, it's a church capital. Like it has the most churches per capita in the country, and everybody thinks it's because of the wedding chapels. It's the Mormon churches. Those kids have to go before school, or like in high school. Once you hit high school, you have to go before school. So these girls are done up, full face of makeup, curls and everything. And
Wow.
I'm at class at 6:45 in the morning, and they've already been at church for an hour. And they have to walk across over to where, because so those churches are right next to all of our high schools, and they have to walk over. It's an insanely intense thing.
Wait, why were
But,
you at school at 6:30 in the morning?
it's high school at that time. That's just how the bus schedules went out. Like that's when home
Dang,
was
that's
up.
early. Goodness.
Yeah.
Yo, that is insane.
And those girls were there, like done up fully. They thought I was for a minute because of my bangs. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
like,
you had Mormon bangs, like the
yeah,
Mormon
they're
mullet.
like
You're
my
like, she's one of
haircut.
us. Oh, just kidding.
It's
Yeah,
just
like,
one of
no,
us.
I
Just kidding.
won't. I chose my stuff, but okay. But yeah, it's a very intense thing. So whatever we lost her again.
Angie.
Oof.
It's so
Hello,
funny
keep going.
because there is a chick on the like season 4 and season 5 of Salt
It was
Lake.
like legit.
Well, her name is Angie,
Mm-hmm.
and so now every time I say it, I keep thinking like Angie is gonna
Yeah.
come, but
Yeah,
different
it's
Angie.
really intense. You if you're out of it, like it's no, you can't drink soda. You can't, like, not even just alcohol. You can't drink caffeine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I wrote that, like, no
Wait.
smoking, no
Yeah,
drinking,
no
no sex, no
swearing.
drugs, no.
Yeah, but they can soak, right?
Yes, they can have a good soak.
It's a weird thing that I've only like recently heard more about. I'm like,
Because
what? Oh my
of because
God.
of
Yeah, if you
the
got
Secret
your
Lives
underwear.
of Mormon Wives. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
you got your underwear on that you can, and then that, so you're not touching, but you're touching. It's a thing.
But like some of them don't have their undies on and they're just
Yeah.
not moving. They're just like entering.
It's so weird.
I feel
That
like
kind of stuff, like
You know who else? You know who else didn't have her undies on was Jen Shaw in what I'm going to call Vagina Gate.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That was,
I don't know what that was all about. What's that? She
Why
did
are
a
you
couple of
talking about
high
that?
kicks.
Yeah, why did she do that?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but even if you rewatch that, and I didn't rewatch it to be weird, I rewatched it because I didn't even see anything exposed or her vagina in any direction toward Chloe
Yeah.
or Brooks, and
Yeah.
both acted like they were. Like they'd never seen a vagina before, and they were mortified and had to leave and go shop at Best Buy. So I think
Yeah.
this is one of those things, like Ashley
Yeah.
said, where they take one little thing and they're like, "How can we blow
go.
this into
Right.
something bigger and bigger and bigger?" And
Yeah.
you see that becomes the impetus for the Jen and Meredith feud.
That's right.
For a
long
because it
time.
was interesting seeing them so close at the beginning of
Yes.
this season.
She
Just
threw the birthday
knowing
party,
where-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, like knowing
she was throwing
where
her
their
birthday party, which was
relationship
hysterical,
goes,
because
though.
that birthday party was not for her.
No, no.
But you're
like,
right, it's weird.
Knowing where their relationship goes, it's so different. It's
They
just
are-
so to answer your previous question, Angie, of like who I would want to continue watching. As someone who's seen the entirety, so like up to the very current episode, it's interesting rewatching it now, because when I first watched it, I was all with you, Maggie. I was all about Whitney. I was like, oh, she's fun, she's young, she's like freaky, like we can watch this. And I was also, though, interested in Heather. I thought she was quick, she was smart. I would never want to debate her, but
She's
I'd go
funny.
to her for advice.
Yeah.
And I liked her. So I now rewatching it, I think when I first watched it, I kind of liked Lisa Barlow just a bit. But now rewatching it, I'm like, oh, you are kind of like, I don't dislike her, but like she's not. She like came in really strong, which is fine, but like all of a sudden she had an issue with everybody in the very first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't, like, she can't have the attention not on her, but she's not gonna like scream and throw a glass on the ground, but she's still gonna be like, but
Yeah, she wants.
I'm the queen of Sundance. It's like, ma'am, no.
Yeah.
Like I want to like talk to someone I know that's been to Sundance and be like, was Lisa Barlow there?
Yeah. Did you get into a party without an invitation from Lisa Barlow?
Yeah.
I would like to know that too.
Thing is, I'd want to have I think I would chat with any of them to like get to know them better. Like I would love
Mary,
to get
I don't
to
want
know.
anything to do with Mary.
I would want to talk to her just to like understand. I don't know that I would understand, but like if I could like, I'd like to know if I said like, hey, how's your day going? How that would go.
Yeah,
you know what
where'd
I
that
mean?
go?
Like, hey, do you want to grab a coffee? Like it's a beautiful day outside. I don't
Yeah.
need the sun. Like I don't like I'd be, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm
You'd
interested.
be friends with Maggie if you had to call one of the girls up to go have cocktails.
Thing is,
Heather.
I know
Heather.
that wasn't a question to me. I'm sorry. You
It's
go,
okay.
Maggie.
No, it was a question to both of you. I just cut out from my my internet, so we're having issues with weather here.
Thing is, I'd want to be friends with like. I think I'd want to be friend. I think I would have if I was on good terms with Mary, and she wasn't coming for me. I think she and I would probably like have great like joking banter. Like I honestly feel like Angie, Angie keeps leaving.
We keep losing her.
I feel like I would probably like have a good like joking convo with Mary. But I would if I were to go out and like get hammered with one of them, it would be Heather. I think Heather
Yeah,
probably
I
knows
like
how to
Heather.
party. Whitney knows how to party probably.
Yes.
Yeah, like Heather and Whitney.
I'd go to Temple with Meredith.
You get
Yeah.
a temple with Meredith.
Yeah, Shabbat
Yeah.
Shalom, sweet girl. Like I would
Meredith
totally do it.
Meredith and Lisa. They would just give me too many flashbacks of like crazy bosses that I've had before, and I just be like, I can't deal with that energy.
Yeah.
I understand.
I would go with Heather for sure. Heather would be a great wing girl. She'd make sure I
Yeah.
got home safely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she would tell you if you didn't look good too. Like if I asked her, like, "Hey, do I have like a boob popping out?" Like I feel like she'd look at
Yeah.
me and be like, "You know what? Both of them."
Yeah, she would straighten my crown, as they say.
Right.
I think she would totally do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like Heather a lot. I'm trying to think too in terms of who
She
I want to
stirs
say.
the pot, though. She does.
Oh my god, so
She
much.
stirs the pot.
Yeah.
So-
And honestly, here's my thing. Okay, so Billy, the guy she married, the guy who was, handsome and Mormon, and she only married him because he was Mormon and he was Mormon royalty or whatever. The gay family got all this money from Howard Hughes and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Billions, according to her. And she said more than once, like, Billy basically provides for me 100% financially. And she said, I never had to work because we had, quote, limitless money. And he helped her buy the beauty lab. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's the sense where she comes off a bit as a self-made woman, but I still feel like she's not entirely authentic. I think she's got a safety net that's huge and that has allowed her to make these moves. And I congratulate her for building something.
Yeah.
But I think it sends a message to other women who may not be married to billionaire Mormons or divorced from billionaire Mormons that, oh, hey, just get divorced with 3 kids and you too can have a business, valued at $20 million.
Yeah.
Not that easy. But I mean, that's why she's on the show, right? Because she's got some bank and she's got an interesting story and drama. And I like her kids. They all seem pretty nice and grounded and they're close. And,
I like all the kids on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's hard to judge because when your parent is like the star of a show and you just come on every now and then, like I don't think it's like it's hard to sort of like make forge opinions on like them because like I'm not paying attention to them that much. Yeah. Like glad to see them when they're there, but like I like all the kids on the show.
Yeah, the only one who's really inserting themselves as a plot figure is Brooks. Everybody else is really just a prop of sorts. And I don't mean that's not in a demeaning way. They just are. They're like a prop. Yeah. They don't have a lot of personality. They're very two-dimensional. They're more or less used by the leads on the show to justify their actions. How many times do we hear, you insult my family. My family's off limits. My family. And they never spend time with their family. I mean, even John sits Lisa down at dinner on date night and says, look, honey.
Can we spend time together as a family?
Right,
yeah. You can't be Warren Buffett. We're putting the kids last. And she's like, well, Warren Buffett buys a lot of companies. Why can't I? And it's like, because you don't even see your kids. Well, yeah, but I'm building an empire. And it's like, wow. I mean, I think is the saddest part of the show.
Yeah, and it's funny that you think that you're Warren Buffett, ma'am.
Yeah, just a little bit of overshooting there. I don't know. I think some of the husbands are interesting. I don't know if they're going to be playing a bigger role as we go. I'm sure Coach Shaw, which that bothers me. Like I would never call my husband by like his job title. I mean, unless it's in a role playing situation, but that's just creepy and weird. But she's just like, Coach, Coach Shaw, put me in, Coach. It's like, okay, what kind of weird stuff goes on in your house? They all seem.
The husbands definitely, I think more in the later seasons, the husbands have a bit more of a role on the show.
Yeah.
Because as the show gets bigger and different cast members come in and out, the husbands sort of have to semi-defend their wives for certain things. And especially this season, that comes up quite a bit.
Which season?
Season
the
5.
Current one?
Ooh.
Like the one that's like airing right now.
Well, I'm excited, and we have that to look forward to for sure. I think as people continue to tune in to our episodes, we're going to have some crossover. Obviously, by the time you get to seasons 2 and 3, we're going to be bringing back tea from season 1 and saying, "Oh yeah, remember when?" But I think every episode we're going to try to recap a season as best we can, and if there's just more tea to spill, we'll roll that on to a part 2.
Right.
But there's plenty of Bravo to go around. So once we get to Bravo, we'll go to another.
So since we don't know the whole series except for Ashley, I'm going to ask Maggie if she has any predictions. Like just rando predictions. Like, do you think somebody's going to get divorced? Somebody's going to go into rehab? Somebody's going to lose their job or any number of scandals? You got any ideas of what you think might happen to these folks? Good or bad, actually.
Jen probably needs some help.
Okay.
Medically for some things. And I think Meredith and her husband, I think they had a great reconciliation suddenly, and
you don't believe it? You think it's going to be
something I forgot.
What?
They never touch on it in any other season.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
I think those are good predictions. I got to say, I'm going to predict Heather finds love. And I think it's going to be a large, beautiful black man who seems to be her type. I want that for her. These are my predictions of hope for these women, right? I'm not wishing anybody ill. I want Heather to find love, like real, authentic love. I think that'll be lovely if it happens. I think Whitney's dad is going to have many more stints at rehab before he comes out of anything productive person. He just doesn't seem ready to make changes. And I don't know, but I'm hopeful that Mary's Faith Temple gets a closer look. I really think there's some shenanigans happening there. So I don't know if they're going to build that in to the show at all, but I would expect somebody's going to raise some eyebrows about what's actually happening to make that much money over that much time. It seems to me there might be some pyramid scheming of some kind happening with some of these folks, but that's what I'm hoping. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I can't remember which seasons like talk about
Things
this
happen.
thing, so I don't want to like.
All right.
Why.
Then we'll
But
wait for next episodes. Then.
until next episode, exactly.
Until next time, America, we'll figure it out. So we're going to look at season 2, next episode. So don't forget to get on HopeCast Network.com and leave us a voicemail and check out all of the other shows on the HopeCast Network. And of course, you can tune in for the next episode when we're going to hit up Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 2, where hopefully things warm up and, the tension is not so icy and cold as a Utah winter. It seems that these folks haven't quite warmed up to each other yet, so maybe we're going to see better friendships develop. I don't know, but join me and my friends as we find out. Take care. Okay, I stopped the recording and just wait 1 second while it totally uploads. Maggie, you're at 60%. If you have to walk away.